Late last night, a Supreme Court justice stopped the execution of a murderer whose lawyers say death by lethal injection would be cruel in his case. We're now waiting for the entire court to decide whether to allow that execution to go forward. Jan Crawford is our chief legal correspondent.
Russell Bucklew is a killer, convicted of fatally shooting a Missouri man and then kidnapping and raping his ex-girlfriend. But when it came time for Bucklew to die for his crimes, he got a last-minute reprieve, as lawyers argue over whether Missouri's method of lethal injection is cruel and inhumane. Bucklew's attorneys say a rare congenital disorder has weakened his blood vessels and would make any lethal injection excruciatingly painful. It's the second time in a week that a condemned killer was at least temporarily spared death over questions about lethal injection, a month after a botched execution in Oklahoma raised scrutiny of executions across the country. Lethal injection is the most common form of execution, originally seen as more humane than other methods and used in all 32 states with the death penalty. The Supreme Court upheld it as constitutional 6 years ago. But in recent years, the lethal drugs have been increasingly difficult to get because the companies who make them, mostly in Europe, are refusing to supply them for executions. Richard Dieter is executive director of the Death Penalty Information Center.
All the states have had to find new sources of drugs, and in some cases new drugs, and it's a bit of an experiment going on right now, which makes everyone nervous.
A two-drug cocktail in Ohio left a convicted killer gasping for 10 minutes before he died. A three-drug combination in Oklahoma caused similar problems until the man died of a heart attack. Both states have suspended executions while they review the procedures. Now, Missouri has used a single drug in each of its last 6 executions without officials say any problems. But because of the uncertainty in the other states, Scott, many are saying this is an issue the Supreme Court eventually is going to have to resolve.
Dodge woman is out of the hospital after getting shot in the chest.
The projectile punctured her lung and collapsed her lung. But that projectile was not a bullet, it was a BB. KCCI's Vanessa Peng has the story, new at 6. Vanessa?
The BB was less than ½ an inch from puncturing her heart, and now it's still lodged in her back.
I walked right there, and they were like right here.
At first, Francesca Petroline thought they were just kids out having some fun.
There was probably like 3 or 4 10 to 12-year-old little boys right there that they had like a big looking like airsoft gun or air rifle.
It was Sunday around 1 in the morning. Petroline was picking up her son at her grandmother's near Armstrong Park in Fort Dodge. She heard a loud noise and came down to the park with her fiance to investigate.
I turned like this to say something to my fiance, and then that's when I got shot.
Petroline shows us where the BB hit her in the chest. She says the wound didn't bleed much and it seemed to be only a bruise.
I started having like really trouble breathing. My side started to hurt, my back started to hurt, my arm hurt.
So she went to the emergency room and found out why she couldn't breathe properly.
It went in through my chest, it punctured my lungs and collapsed it, and then lodged itself like right against, in between like the muscle and the skin on my back.
Petroline was in the hospital for about 2.5 days. Doctors told her the BB shouldn't be toxic and they won't be taking it out. Now she wants parents to supervise their kids or keep BB guns away from them.
They're not like a little kid's toy. They're not something you just go play with. They're an actual serious like weapon.
It is not illegal for kids in Iowa to own BB guns, and Petroline says she filed a police report. Kevin, we reached out to the Fort Dodge Police Department but haven't heard back yet.